So, the different topics that I'm going to be talking about are all about ways to access the unconscious mind, because thinking up is not something that is just about when things are rosy. And I tell people all the time, sometimes people will tell me, how can you be so up when all this stuff is going on? And I tell them, it's a state of mind. It's not something I wait for good things to happen to be happy. You are in charge of your thoughts. You're in charge of what you choose to focus on. And I tell people it's not like you put a pair of rose-colored glasses on like we used to say back in the 60s. It's not putting rose-colored glasses on and pretending everything's rosy. That's not what this work's about. This work is about realizing what an amazing experience life is. And when challenges happen, instead of looking at them, taking in the information, and framing it in your mind as horrible, terrible, oh my gosh, and sending yourself down that victim road where you're going to miss out on any lessons or strengths that you could build getting through something. If something is happening, it's about being there with it in a resourceful state. I have been, and again, I'm not going to talk about personal experiences unless they become relevant, but I've been in a couple of very, very extreme accidents where people died. And the thing that I noticed in the situations I was in where people around me either were hurt or had died, even at a very young age, this happened once, and I may talk about that at length in some class, in some show that is going to be talking about how to get past trauma. Past trauma. Interesting. And it's not about forgetting it, because people will call me and they'll say, can you make me forget my ex-girlfriend? Make me forget that this ever happened. Can you erase my memory? And I'm like, my goodness, why would you want to do that? First of all, if you erase something, why would you not want to erase an experience you had in your life? How about if that experience could actually offer you something? How about if you got something positive moving forward that you would have never gotten? Because if you think about the most profound experiences in your life where you got the most from, I'll bet most of them were not the very up, positive, happy moments. Most of the times when you came out of it a better person, it was because you were challenged. So anyway, where was I? Getting off track here. So when we talk about things like cancer, when we talk about challenges, when we talk about crisis, that's a new buzzword that's out there a lot. Everything's a crisis now. And, a real crisis, I don't know if some people would even recognize, because this morning a lady missed an appointment. She forgot to bring her son to come see me. And on the phone, it was like, my gosh, you would have thought it was the worst crisis of her life. And I'm like, calm down, everything's fine. Let's move on here. What do we do now? And some people, and that tells me there's a lot of stress going on in that person's life. And for, because when the little stresses build up, by the way, like we talked about the last two shows, when the little stresses build up over time, that's when the Simonsons found, that's in their studies, that's what led to cancer. Because, we all have cancerous cells in our body. We all have cancer cells. Did you know that? Most people know that. And most of us have, pollen that comes into our body. Most of us have there's a lot of stuff, a lot of germs and bacteria and different things that we have access to. And it's a matter of how our body processes it. If we're under a lot of stress, those things are going to affect our body more so than if we are in a resourceful state. And like I said, if you've ever been in a situation that was a very big, serious situation where maybe an accident or something, where there are several people around, and some of the people that already are stressed or don't have a good strategy to deal with stress, they fall apart. They become part of the problem. They add to the crisis because they are unable to deal with it. They're falling apart, crying in the corner, whatever. And there are usually one or two people, hopefully, that, and like I said, I'm not sure how I ended up, other than that I've always been on a search for human behavior and experiencing life, that I ended up being one of those people at an early age that looks around and goes, what do we need to do about this? What can we do? It's a what can you do mindset rather than, oh my gosh, this is terrible and it's horrible and all of that. So at any given moment in time, you have a choice of either using your thoughts to go down the victim pathway. And I don't mean that in any demeaning way whatsoever, because many people that are on the victim pathway um, have had some very traumatic things happen. And it's not about blame. It's not about any of that. It's about how do you choose to live your life? And I happen to be, from an early age probably, I'm guessing, someone who just, based on whatever I saw in my surroundings, decided to choose to be more present and to figure out what can we do with this? What can we do with this? And my goal in life from that point on has always been to find more efficient ways to be in situations that show up and to assess what can you do with it. Because if you're there, if you're alive, there's something that you can do. There's a way that you can think that can allow you to get through it more efficiently than someone who's going to be falling apart and thinking about how horrible it is. So anyway, enough about that. But I want to keep these shows up, but I want you to realize that being up is also about being resourceful. It's about thinking up, meaning strength. When you think up, I think it was the first show I did where I talked about if you're feeling kind of down or low on energy, if you just stand up and hold yourself straight up and look up in the air, hold your chin up, maybe raise your arms up in the air and just start laughing or looking at something beautiful up in the sky, you're going to feel instantly better. With everything the same going on, you will feel better. You will feel better instantly. And as much better as you allow yourself to feel, that's what's going to happen. I talked about one of my first teachers, Dr. Michael Preston, who wrote Hypnosis Medicine of the Mind. He said, we teach people how to think. It's not that you don't already know how to think. It's about, if the way I'm thinking causes me to feel worse than I need to feel in this situation, why would I not want to learn how to think in a way that would cause me to feel better, to be more resourceful, to be more productive, to be more successful? So that's what this show is about. It's not about just, I love Norman Vincent Peale. Positive thinking, yes. It goes beyond that. If you actually did read some of these people that have talked about positivity and this stuff through the years, it's more than just the rose-colored glasses again. It's about a mindset. It's about moving through life, being able to be in any given moment. Like right now, I'm in this studio and it's so cool. It's like I'm back in showbiz again. I've got some wonderful feelings that I get when I get behind this microphone. And some of those are at the unconscious level based on my experiences when I used to sing and when I used to do radio shows and voiceovers and things. And that's all part of what brings these feel-good chemicals into my body. And my brain and my mind has all of these things stored. So I don't have to sit here and try to remember what it was that I enjoyed about being behind a microphone. It's already programmed in. There isn't room in the conscious mind for all of that processing. You can only focus on whatever's going on right now. And somebody figured out 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information in any given moment that you can focus on. So it's the unconscious mind's job to trigger all of those feel-good hormones and chemicals in your brain so that something happens and you just feel it. Now, if something just happened and you feel bad, the good part of that is that you can retrain your mind. You can retrain your mind to trigger different chemicals, to trigger a different emotional effect, a different emotional feeling on purpose. You can do this with these techniques. You can create a new strategy. So something that used to, the person, like I said, that calls me and says, can you erase this part of my past that's traumatizing me? Well, how about if we make it so that when you think of that now, or if something just accidentally reminds you of that or that person out in the future, that you feel differently? How would you like to be able to feel when that comes up? And sometimes the best feeling is a neutral feeling. I'd like to just not have any feeling at all. I'd just like to be okay with it. Like I hear it, I get reminded of it, and I'm just neutral. If that's what you want, you can train that in. The mind, you can train it in and then create a trigger, and it can be done very quickly. The only thing that gets in the way of it being done quickly is limiting thought, conscious limiting thought, impressions, opinions. Everybody's got an opinion. If someone else's opinion doesn't assist you, I say throw it out, kick it out, find a better opinion. And if you go inside to the expert, as I like to say, at the unconscious level, that's your expert for you, for your life, for what you are able to do, for what is possible for you. And your unconscious mind has all of that information. Everybody's out here looking outside. Give me a pill, fix me. Do therapy on me, do this to me, do this, give me this. And they're missing it. People that are doing that are missing it. And when they discover that all of the answers and the expert truly is inside, it becomes amazing. It's like this moment, those aha, those wow moments that I see in classes all the time. And hypnosis, self-hypnosis, by the way, like I said, the difference between meditation is a nice, relaxed, focused state of concentrated attention as well. The difference between hypnosis and meditation, the only difference, because they're both in the same brainwave state, they're both healthy for you. The difference is with hypnosis, you start out with that intention. You start out with an outcome, a goal. And one of my favorite phrases, I say it a lot, you'll hear it a lot if you listen to the show or come to any of my classes. Why waste a good trance? If you're in that state where your unconscious is activated, that channel is open, and you are able to access your higher faculties, why would you not let it do something for you? It has the ability. It has unlimited ability. And so, why waste that trance? You might as well give it something to do while your body's being healthier, while your immune system's getting stronger, while you're de-stressing, all those things. And it can do it all. So give it some more to do. It has the ability, and it can improve your life. It can accent your life. It can make the highs higher and catch the lows before they get too low. That roller coaster of life, so that your normal way of moving through life keeps raising. That's the way I think of this work. I do want to tell you.